A good midday Saturday to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights Consulting, weather hazards forecaster for VELCO. This weather outlook is brought to us also by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Now looking at the northern hemisphere here, and you can see where the coldest air is, and right now where that snow line is. Snow approximately approximately through the middle part of the country here, but the deepest snows will remain a little bit north into Canada, some parts of the northern Rockies, and into parts of Alaska. Where is the cold temperatures, though? Let's take a look at that. 2-meter temperatures right now. You can see it stretches from Siberia across polar. Most of North America is where the real cold air lies, parts of Greenland as well. Now, looking at max temperatures today, just how it varies, and then mins tonight. But looking at temperature anomaly, this is very interesting because really there's no real super duper cold air except in North America, and that's east of Alaska and the Canadian, British Columbia, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and that stretches in with one segment. This other segment is hanging over the northeast United States. A little bit of a break in the action here. But you notice that most of the northern hemisphere is really well above normal in temperature, including a good portion of the Arctic. Greenland has actually cooled off a little bit. Southwestern coast is warmed up a little bit. Siberia has actually warmed up. Eastern Siberia has cooled off just a little bit, and largely due to a ridge of higher pressure aloft and forcing a flow that's bringing the coldest air into North America. For utilities, generally quiet this period, a few exceptions. Now at play, of course, is the Arctic cold and wind chills as we approach the New Year's Eve holiday. This is possibly one of the most severe of any New Year's Eve in terms of wind chills in recent memory. Minor flurry activity will be with us off and on. It continues fairly active, with the two driest days coming Tuesday and again possibly during the day on Wednesday. Big snow possibilities with a significant western Atlantic storm system that's poised to develop as a Miller A-type nor'easter in the southern Gulf Coast region, crosses through Florida. Jet stream energy is very active in the western Atlantic. This could pose a problem on Thursday into Thursday night with lowered confidence, however. However, the closer coastline track could mean an East Coast blizzard, all speculative at this point in time. We're dealing with Arctic chill, and this returns Friday and into the next weekend beyond this period, but then it looks relatively short-lived with a major pattern change setting up thereafter. Let's take a look at the latest computer models. Just before we do that, I want to also make note here of the weak weather system with more persistent snows, steadier snows down to the south of us. Looking how the temperatures are, you can see that the coldest temperatures down roughly into the center of the nation, Mason-Dixon line basically. And up in the northern areas here, you can see temperatures well below zero. And of course, this continues to advect into Vermont. Wind chills right now, taking a look up to the north and west of us. You can see these wind chills are pretty brutal. This is what's going to be moving in. Take a look at that, minus 50 up in North Dakota. This is going to be some of that wind chill along with that wind velocity that will be moving in for New Year's Eve, so heads up on that. So at noontime, we can see some little bit of light snow that's moved into southern parts of Vermont. And you can see that system that's off the coast south of Long Island. Some pretty heavy wet snows falling to the south and east, and some of the lake effect bands or types of mesoscale banding associated with that storm system that goes out to sea. It's going to draw in some stronger winds. This is in the early morning hours tomorrow, Sunday. And then just taking this a little bit further out, we'll start to see some stronger winds, but not a whole lot in the way of snowfall on the typical Arctic pattern. It's like an Arctic desert, just very limited amounts, especially when we get downwind of the Great Lakes. This is how temperatures look. They kind of retreat back to the north here today, where we're actually going to get into the single digits above zero. Hallelujah. Now, it's going to be fairly short-lived because here comes the colder air. This is 9 o'clock tonight, 10. And watch what happens, of course, on Sunday. We start to see those colder temperatures begin to move back. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, so a little bit of a retreat. But that colder air is going to make a beeline into Vermont to the north and west of us. This is valid 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. And there's New Year's Eve right there. This is the HRRR experimental. So there goes our weather system. This is the European 6-hourly increments with precipitation, pressure patterns, and thicknesses. Of course, anything north of blue dashed lines means cold enough to snow. And we have a weak area of higher pressure that's going to try to make some inroads here. But already that colder blast has come on through. We have lake effect snow, as you can see. The lake effect. A little bit of snow makes it in here on Tuesday night. So good day on Tuesday, and Tuesday night a little bit of snow shower or flurry activity, and then Wednesday looks like another day, kind of lower confidence. But take a look at the jet stream energy here that's coming in out of the Gulf of Mexico across Florida. Again, this is valid about Tuesday night, and as we get into Wednesday, you can start to see the formation of a developing area of low pressure off the Florida coast. Note that interior sections of the southeastern coastal areas, and that would include places like northern Florida, a little bit north of Daytona, back up into Cape Hatteras territory. It is cold enough to snow right along the coast, as the interior areas are very, very cold. 990 low, you can see that puppy. This is a very significant western Atlantic storm. It's fairly broad, a lot of jet stream energy comes together, and it tracks relatively far out south and east of us. A lot of the teleconnection indices are favoring the MGO is in phase 2, meaning it's probably more than likely going to be off the coast. The Arctic Oscillation as well as the North Atlantic Oscillation is favoring a little closer to the coast. So this is the latest in the European. If this were to track 100 miles west, well, it would be a significant East Coast blizzard. It's something we definitely have to keep our eyes on, and this is going to be along about Thursday into Thursday night and Friday as the area of low pressure begins to depart into the Canadian Maritimes. This looks like some very strong gusty winds, and that's another issue here for especially southern parts of the summits of the Green Mountains, where we might see gusts 35 to 45 miles an hour along about Friday, the last day of this period. Centered on Burlington, this is the GFS ensemble model, and you can see about 507-inch total melted precip here, so we're not looking at very much what's going to be moving into the Burlington area. And then relatively dry weather. This is our main nor'easter, again, off the coast. The GFS ensembles are also picking up on this, and let's just say we had 1 inch of water equivalent in very dry, very cold conditions. That's probably good for about 2 feet of snow. Weather Prediction Center, we're looking at total QPF, and you can see here very limited amounts of precipitation, 1/100 of an inch, and you're looking at just 1/4 of an inch in eastern parts of New England. Over toward the Great Lakes, where the moisture feed is stronger, that's where they're going to have some issues. And of course in the Pacific, finally, it looks like the Sierra, the northern Sierra, central Sierra potentially is going to start to see some much needed rainfall. This has been a ridge of higher pressure guarding this, and we're about to open the floodgates again. Centered on Burlington, this is the GFS ensemble temperatures. So we warm up today below 0 for the next couple of days, and then another warm up for the middle part of the week and toward the end of the week. And roughly about right here, it looks like the GFS ensemble has some issues where there's much more of a spread, so lower confidence roughly after about the 4th of January. Quick look at the maximum daytime mean temperatures here, anomalous temperatures, and you can see just how cold it is east of the Rockies. Not a lot of change 3 days later. So I want to go back to where I started with temperature anomalies, and once again you can see that most of the planet is really warm. The only place in North America is cold. You can see Africa into Europe, basically well above normal temperatures here. We're talking 10 to 20 degrees above normal in northern Scandinavia, much of Eurasia. Look at this in China, eastern Siberia. Where is it cold? North America. Western U.S., warm. Looking at the southern hemisphere, warmer in Antarctica, Parts of Antarctica are colder. Same thing with Australia. And back we go. These are 2-meter temperatures, so taking a look at that, you can see where the coldest of the cold is. It's not in Siberia. It is kind of a little bit of competition in central Greenland. However, let's take another look at this and go to 850 millibars. And note that it's coldest in northern Greenland, parts of Canada, and then right here as we get into parts of southern Canada. Notice that you get in at 850 millibars or hectopascals. A good portion of Asia, Eurasia, Europe is well above those temperatures. So where's the coldest air? It's in North America and Greenland. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.